What's up, kings and queens? How you guys doing today? Today is a commentary about how to do biotic explosions. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people that don't know how to do biotic explosions. I know it may sound crazy, but there are people out there. This gameplay is a silver solo, in case you were wondering. It's a rather old gameplay, probably about 4 or 5 months old, but we're not here for the gameplay. We're here to learn how to do biotic explosions, and hopefully by the end of this video you will understand how to do biotic explosions. Now, people tend to cling to the soldier class because that's like the easiest class to use, because you can carry any guns. You don't have to worry about weapon weight. You can throw your grenade, shoot your gun, and that's all you really have to worry about, you know, just typical soldier stuff. But other classes such as Vanguard, Adept, or some people say it's pronounced Adept, but I've been saying Adept for so long that I'm just going to continue saying Adept. But anyways, Vanguards, Adepts, and some characters in other classes can detonate biotic explosions. Biotic explosions are the way to go. And what I mean by they're the way to go is because once you learn how to do biotic explosions, it actually makes the game a lot easier. And with biotic explosions, with each difficulty, biotic explosions deal the same amount of damage. So the damage goes up with the difficulty. So in bronze, a biotic explosion kills a cannibal instantly. It will kill a cannibal instantly in platinum. So that's another good thing about biotic explosions that a lot of people probably didn't know. But anyways, like I said, the ideal class for biotic explosion is the Adept class. Vanguards can do it, and like I said, other characters from other classes can do it, I think. But what you want to look at first is weapon weight. Since Adepts rely on biotic powers, you have to carry a weapon that's light weighted. So you want your weight to be as close to 200% as possible. I would say don't go any lower than 160%. I personally don't go lower than 180%, but that's just me personally. But you need to be able to spam your biotic powers, and there's a lot of times where I don't even use my gun using the Adept class. I just use all my biotic powers and just be doing biotic explosions left and right. And another good thing about biotic explosions is the fact that it not only does it affect the target that takes direct impact from the biotic explosion, it can also kill enemies all around the biotic explosion. And if it doesn't kill those enemies, it will harm them a great deal. So when talking about weapon weight, like I said, keep it within the 200%, the 160% arguably, and you should be okay. One thing you want to know about biotic explosions is you need a source power and you need a detonator. The source powers are the powers that prep the enemy for the biotic explosion. The detonator powers are the powers that detonate the biotic explosion. Some biotic powers are detonators and source powers. Some biotic powers require you to spec in a certain way in order for you to be able to do the biotic explosions. So on the screen I'm going to put a list of which powers are the source powers and which powers are the detonator powers. What you might want to do is pause the video on those parts, write them down, or I'm going to put a link in the description to where I got this information, and you can look and see for yourself. There are also other combos in Mass Effect 3 like Tech Burst, Fire Explosions, Cryo Explosions, and you will find all of those on that website too, and I'm going to make a separate video for those. But for now we're going to talk about the biotic explosions. Now first on the screen I'm going to put up the source power. We have Annihilation Field, Barrier when detonated, Biotic Sphere with Warp Effect Evolution, so you have to spec it for the Warp Effect. Dark Channel, Dark Sphere, Lash, except for armored targets. Lift Grenade, Pull, and as a side note, increased combo damage evolution is in multiplayer only, so you can't do that in campaign. Reeve, Shockwave with the lifting Shockwave effect, so for the final spec in Shockwave, spec it for the lifting effect. Singularity, Smash with Biotic Combo Evolution, Stasis, and Warp. Those are the source powers, and like I said, some source powers are also detonators, so keep that in mind. And also, like I said, pause the video and take notes, or just go click the link in the description and you can just look at it at your own leisure or at your own pace, own time. And if you really want to get serious about learning how to do biotic explosions, and if you don't know how, this video is the best video to go. Next are the detonator powers. We have Annihilation Field when detonated. So the Annihilation Field is one of those things that are a source power and they're also a detonator power. So let's say you're using N7 Fury. You have Annihilation Field active. You run up on an enemy, they get affected by your Annihilation Field, and then you detonate Annihilation Field again. That will cause a biotic explosion. Biotic Charge, Biotic Hammer, Biotic Orb, Biotic Slash, Biotic Sphere, Cluster Grenade. And one thing about Cluster Grenade, it's good if you, let's say you throw out a Reeve. Reeve is a source power and a detonator, if I'm not mistaken. But you throw out a Reeve or a Warp, then you throw out Cluster Grenades. That's good for clearing out spawns. Concussive Shot with the Amplification Evolution and Warp Ammo equipped, but that's in single player only. Dark Sphere, Flare, Lash, except for armored targets. Lift Grenade, only on enemies without protection. Nova, Poison Strike, Reeve, Secret Swarm, Shockwave, Singularity upon self-detonation with the Detonate Evolution. Slam, Smash, Throw, and Warp. Those are all the detonators. And upon a lot of research, Warp and Shockwave is the most powerful biotic explosions in Mass Effect 3. And the people who can do that are the human male and female vanguards. They have the Shockwave. I believe they have Warp and Shockwave. But like I said, upon research, I did a lot of research, okay, and I found out that that's the best way to go as far as biotic explosions. But keep in mind though, with Shockwave, you have to aim Shockwave you have to manually aim Shockwave. You do have to manually aim other things like throw. You have to make sure the enemy is targeted before you throw the throw so that it can hit the enemy that you're targeting. But with Shockwave, not only do you have to do that, but you also have to aim it a little bit, and it can become a little inaccurate, which makes it kind of harder to do those biotic explosions. But with all biotic powers, make sure that the enemy is targeted so that the computer or the character knows who you're trying to attack. Okay, and if you want to know what a biotic explosion looks like, I've been doing biotic explosions in this gameplay. I'm doing Annihilation Field throw, and what I like about N7 Fury is the fact that you can run up on enemies. You have to be up close. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, because you can do Dark Channel and throw, but I like to do the Annihilation Field and throw. It just makes it a little funner. Like, look, I just ran up on her, boom, ran up on her, boom. As you can see in this gameplay, I'm using the Acolyte because that's a good gun to use for shields and stuff and barriers. You can bring their shields down with the Acolyte and then hit them with the biotic explosion and they'll die immediately. It's instant kill, or insta-kill. And here, I'm going to show you what a biotic explosion looks like. As soon as I do one in this gameplay, I'm going to pause it for you. Oh, and by the way, biotic explosions are less powerful on armored targets, but although it does deal a lot of damage though, don't get me wrong. That there was a biotic explosion. If you want to see how another one looks, I'll show you in a second. And there you go, guys, a biotic explosion tutorial. Hopefully by now you would know how to work as, well, you will know how to do biotic explosions. Practice it in matches with friends or in public matches, and you'll be good in no time. I'll make a video about tech bursts, cryo explosions, and fire explosions as well. And also take a look at the news feeds too, is another way to see if you did biotic explosions. But don't rely on the news feeds. It's best to know what they look like, because sometimes the news feeds might say that one of your biotic powers is what killed the enemy. In reality, it was a biotic explosion. Anyways, have a nice day, guys.